Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of PhotoBiz Live. This is Jen from the PhotoBiz team. Today, I'm joined by our Executive Director, Lauren Marx, and we are here today to talk with you about building an effective website. We are going to give everyone just a few more minutes to continue joining the webinar, and then we'll get started. Well, good afternoon again, everyone, and once again, welcome to PhotoBiz Live. We want to thank everyone at the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce for giving PhotoBiz the opportunity to put on this webinar today about building an effective website. In addition to getting the opportunity to learn from us today, we will also have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. You can submit your questions using the chat tool, and they'll be answered after the presentation. You can also join in the discussion on Twitter by using the hashtag PhotoBizLive. If at any point during today's webinar you have difficulty hearing the speaker or seeing the slides, please use the comment box to let us know. We'll also be recording this webinar and will be available for playback on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/photobiz. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start things off and hand it over to Lauren.
Good afternoon, everyone, and again, thank you. We wanted to start off by introducing PhotoBiz. Many people see us around town, and basically what we do is we're a managed website solution company, and we deal with photographers as well as small business. What does that mean, actually? Well, that means that we provide websites, blogs, proofing, and e-commerce tools. So we try and integrate all different sorts of website solutions into our product. And our team here is very good at integrating other tools in the web, such as Facebook, Twitter, and other such tools. Managed, what does that mean? Managed means that we're viewable. We make sure it's viewable, all websites or all tools, on all browsers and all devices. And we make sure that they function properly, again, in a PC, Mac, or on any browser or any device. When we say we're managed, it also means that we're managing the behind-the-scenes functionality, making sure they're secure, there's a lot of redundancy, and if you use our e-commerce tool, it's PCI compliant. We also have in the slide here that we're powered by phone and email with passionate support. And that's what we feel makes us different than other companies. Anyone who's a client of ours can testify that when they call in, they feel like they have a friendly voice on the other end of the line who's listening to the problem and trying to solve the problem. And it may just be some sort of advice on, hey, how do I integrate this into my website, or not really sure what I should do here. Or it could be a technical difficulty. We welcome all different kinds of challenges, and we just love to work with our clients one-to-one. We're also located on the corner of West Friendly and Spring Street in downtown Greensboro. We moved into this location a couple years ago, and we love it here, and we invite people to come on by. I'm going to hand it over to Jen.
Alrighty, so as a part of building an effective website, we want to walk you through some different tips, and it's sort of a checklist of sorts to be able to help you all make sure that your website is effective. So the first thing we want to talk about is your website mobile friendly? Some recent studies from 2012 of mobile users showed that 67% of people that were visiting a website from a mobile device were more likely to buy a product or a service if the website was mobile friendly. To the same extent, 61% of the people surveyed found that they would actually leave the site if it was not mobile friendly. So these statistics just go to really show you how important it is to make sure that your website can be accessed, whether it's from a computer, a tablet, or a mobile phone. No matter what device your customer is visiting your website from, they need to be able to use it. And what does that mean? It means that the website should load very quickly. And that should be the case whether it's from a phone, a computer, or a tablet. Really, any device should be fast, but it's extra important when it's from a mobile phone because it's on a different speed of internet. Mobile-friendly navigation is also important, and with that in mind, think of how easy it is to click on things with a finger versus a mouse. It's a much different intuitive nature in terms of how you're touching things and how you're interacting, so you need to make sure the buttons are big enough that they can easily click them. At the same time, you need to make sure that there's quick access to contact information. And so that's what this example is that you're seeing here to the left. You can see a Contact Us page where there's very straightforward, detailed information of phone number and a form that you can easily fill out to be able to get more information. And I'm going to hand things to Loren to talk about logo and branding.
Thank you, Jen. The first thing that people should see when they come to your site would be your logo. The logo, color, font, everything should really represent you and your business. You have already built brand recognition, and that should be consistent within your website. And it should also be consistent against any sort of web platform you're using, whether you're using Facebook or Twitter. You want to make sure to have your branding across to everything, so they always know that they're on one of your sites, or looking at one of your products. And you want your logo and your branding to convey your style. If you are a corporation, you may have a little bit more conservative style. And if you're service-oriented business, it may be a little bit more personal style. You just want to make sure that it's uniquely yours and recognizable. The next thing I want to talk about is domain. When choosing a domain, choice is very important. And the first choice we would always recommend would be a .com. So you want to make sure when people go out to the web, they just naturally know .com. So if at all possible, you should always try and pick a .com name. Now, the name should definitely reflect your business. If you already have a location and a business, you've been in business for a while, and you have a business name, you want to try and get it as close to that name as possible. But if you're starting a new business or a new web presence, you want it just to be very easy to spell, easy to remember, and you want to make sure it doesn't hit the eye wrong. It doesn't sound wrong or just look wrong when you look at it online. We also recommend that you avoid using dashes. They're hard to remember, and they can just be a little bit confusing for people. Another thing you want to do when you're thinking about selecting a domain name is if you find a name that you like, check the other extensions on it, such as .net or .biz or .info, because if you have a direct competitor using that same name on a different extension, that could really take traffic away from you, and they could accidentally find that person. Another thing to be a little bit cautious about is don't misuse a .org. A .org would really be relevant for a charitable organization, some sort of a movement, and it's really not the appropriate extension to use if you're running a business.
So we wanted to add in a little bit of a touch of humor when we're talking about domain names. So before I read what you're seeing on the screen, I want you to read it to yourself and determine what it is that you're seeing. Okay, now that you've had a chance to look at it, did you think you were going to see a website about Spain? You know, some people, when they see a domain name like this, they might see Choose Pain and not initially see Chooses Spain. So it's just an example to have a little bit of humor to make sure when Loren was talking about be careful if it might hit the eye wrong. We just want you to remember the different ways that the domain name that you pick can be interpreted. There are no spaces. There is no capitalization. When someone's typing in a domain name, it's all lowercase most of the time. So really think about that when you're picking it. Once someone gets to your website, you want them to make sure that they can very easily get in touch with you. A website is most certainly a form of contact, but beyond that, then they want to be able to talk to a person. With that in mind, you want to make sure that you've got some of your really most readily available contact information directly in the header or the footer. This includes things like your phone number. One of the things with that is even think about taking it to that next level of if someone is visiting it from a mobile site, is it clickable? Can they tap on your phone number and immediately call you? Similarly, make sure that there's a very easy to find contact link. Think of things like Contact Us being right in the top level navigation so that from every page on their site, they can easily contact you. Another form of contact information that's very prevalent today is social media. So make it easy for your customers to find and connect with you and continue to follow you through social media. Whether you include it in your header or your footer, it's really a preference up to you, but make sure that that's something that's consistent and available on every page of your site. When you get into your more detailed contact info page, this is a place to really let people know all the different ways to contact you. A name of a specific person or giving them information about the different departments within your organization makes it easier for people to find and get in touch with the most correct people. With this in mind, you can include phone numbers. For us, we have customers that are both local here as well as international, and so where you can see from this example that we're making sure that no matter where people are contacting us from, they know the specific way to get in touch with us. At the same time, they also know the time that they can get in touch with us. Going even that step further, you also want to make sure you have a physical address. You want people to know where you're located. It lends a sense of credibility to help people understand who you are and where you are. With this in mind, another nice thing to help do if you're looking to get foot traffic for people to physically come and visit you, you want to include a link for them to be able to get directions through Google Maps and other navigation systems, or for some people, you might even want to considering embedding a map. In addition to having the name, the phone number, your hours, and your address, another common form of contact for a contact page that's almost essential to every page is making sure you have an email form. You'll notice there I said form, not just an email, because you want to mask your email so that you're not showing your email to the world and it's not accessible to robots. Not every bot in the world do you want to get the random emails that people are asking you to do different things that you're not interested in. You want to get those qualified leads from people who want to contact you. You can see here we've actually created 2 forms to make sure that we're even getting it that much easier for people to get in touch with the accurate person.
Is your navigation user-friendly? This is very, very important. When people come to your site, they want to know that they've reached the business they're trying to reach. And you should have a 3-click rule. Any question or any reason they came to the website, they should be able to find within 3 clicks. Your menus should be simple and easy to follow. If they're looking for a product, they should be able to easily find the product. If they're trying to figure out how much it costs, they should be able to figure out how much it costs. If they're trying to understand your service or understand more about you, they should be able to find this information without having to dig through your navigation menu bar or site map. The page's names should also be very intuitive. Again, they can reflect you as a business and who you are. They can be very creative. They just need to convey what the page is all about. You should also have easy to return homepage. So from anywhere within your site, it should be easy for your viewers to get back to your homepage.
That could be whether they're clicking on a button that you have home in your navigation, or even making sure that your logo is clickable to return to your homepage. There's so many different ways to be able to do that. In addition to making sure that your navigation is user-friendly, it's also important to make sure that your site is up-to-date and relevant. From the very beginning, it's important to make sure that your homepage is current. What is going on? What are the current projects you're doing? Are you showing work that you've done in the recent years? It's really just making sure that people see information that is in the now. And the information that's on your homepage is what's going to determine if people keep coming back. You want to give them information that they want to visit you. A one-time website visitor is not necessarily going to turn into a lifelong customer, so you want to make sure your website's something that people want to keep coming back and getting new information from. One of the ways to get people to keep coming back is to consider including something like a blog. It's a great way to post news, specials, events, and projects. Whether that's a seasonal sale that you have, whether that's an event that you have coming up in a few weeks or a few months, whether that's a big project that you just launched and you want to shout from the rooftops to let people know that it's completed and it's ready to show off. It's just a way to really interact with your customers and your potential customers. Another question to ask is, are you displaying your best work? It's time to show off, and that's what we mean. Handpick your best work to be able to showcase it to your potential customers and your current customers. They want to be able to see what you're doing. Have you won an award? Show it off. Are you doing something where you're having an exhibit? Show it off. Make sure at the same time that you're organizing and arranging your content in a way that's both logical in terms of order as well as subject matter. If you're trying to sell something to a specific target market, make sure they can see themselves in what you're showing them. If you're trying to, such as ourselves, work with photographers, we make sure that we've got a picture of a photographer on our homepage to talk to them about seeing that. And to the same respect, we have samples of websites that talk about small businesses to be able to see the different information. One of the examples we talk with our customers who are photographers all the time about is when you're selling the variety of different types of work, such as newborns and weddings and families and maternity, make sure you have a gallery of work to show off those individual segments. Don't make the mom who's looking for pictures of the newborns wade through all the pictures of seniors to find the examples of the newborn pictures that she's interested in having done. This allows you to really connect with your target market in that you are speaking directly to them. An example, again, with displaying your best work would be rotating banners on your homepage. It's a good idea to keep those somewhere between 3 and 7. And also keep in mind that not every project and every work that you do deserves the space on your website. And that's why we really mean it. Pick your best work to show off on your website. Also remember to think about what your website looks like to a search engine. And that's where that key jargon comes in, search engine optimization. That includes making sure you've got quality keywords and descriptions, that you've got unique page titles. You're really paying attention to your metadata. All of this can be tracked and analyzed using a number of different tools. One that we highly recommend is Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools. We encourage you whenever you're doing SEO to really seek expert advice. One of the things that comes with our passionate support is free coaching, and that we will walk people through step by step and answer questions. There are a lot of different things that you can do to stay on a search engine's good side, so to speak, so you want to make sure that you're not doing something that a search engine would look at negatively. So do your research, seek some expert advice, and at the same time as looking at all your metadata and titles and the back-end coding things, make sure that you're recognizing that the contents on your site is also very relevant. It doesn't matter what keywords you stick in the back end of your metadata if the content on your website is not relevant to the words that you're trying to optimize. If you're interested in more information about search engines, we could talk and talk and talk about more of that. But what we actually have for you is all additional webinars just about search engines and search engine optimization. So I encourage you to check out some of the webinars on our YouTube channel. Again, that's youtube.com/PhotoBiz.
Do you have an engaging About Us page? This is where you can make that important connection with your client or your potential client. On this page, you really want to make it, just like the slide says, it's all about you. You want to show yourself off. You want to talk about your story. You want to engage your client. They want to know, who are they dealing with? How long have you been around? How credible are you? How long have you been in business? And what makes you unique? What do you have to offer? And what makes you stand out? And this is your opportunity. Anybody that's going to come to this page and going to read your story, they're probably very interested in engaging you or contracting you, and they're really interested in how you work and the story you tell. So it's a really important page, and we encourage everyone to have a page like this.
In addition to making sure that your website itself is effective, you need to consider social media. You might not initially think of social media when you're thinking about whether your website is effective, but it is a part of it. You should include links to any social media outlets that you're participating in. And be careful in the way that I say that, actually, because you don't need to include a link to every social media you're participating in from your website. include a link to the ones that you are actively participating in with your customers. You can include a share button to be able to help customers share an article, share a project, share something like it, and it really all turns into people talking about you and driving traffic back to your website. Social media is a great way to really gauge and connect with your customers. You can gather testimonials where you can be able to get feedback that helps drive even more business. And then you can take those testimonials and, with the permission of your customers, post them on your website. So it really all works hand in hand. Social media becomes a part of having an effective website. Social media is another one of those topics that really deserves its own webinar. In fact, next Tuesday, one of our team, Danny, will be doing a webinar called Social Media Bootcamp, and we encourage you to consider joining that as well. So when you look back at everything we've been talking about in terms of what makes a successful website, number one, is your website mobile friendly? Make sure that no matter what device your customer is visiting it from, they can see and interact with your website. Number two, is your logo and branding consistent? No matter where your customer is seeing you, they should be seeing the same branding and elements so that they can recognize it's part of your company. Number three, is your domain name simple and easy to remember? People should be able to find your company very quickly and easily, such as typing in yourname.com. Number four, do you have easy to find contact info on your site? Once someone gets to your site, you want to make sure that they can get in touch with you and you can nurture that lead. Number five, is your navigation user-friendly? Just because people have found your website does not mean that it's done. You have to make sure that they can find the information they are looking for and that they can find it quickly and easily. Number six, do you keep your site up to date and relevant? Make sure that it's talking about things that are current. Make sure that your footer copyright date is correct. Just keeping people knowing that you are actively working. Number seven, are you displaying your best work? It's time to show off, and that's really the best way to describe that one. Number eight, have you optimized your website for search engines? Make it easy for people to find your website. Number nine, do you have an engaging About Us page? Tell the story of who you are and what makes the difference between you and one of your competitors. Number 10, have you integrated social media with your site? Connect with your customers and make it easy for them to connect with you. So you've heard us talk all about what makes an effective website. Now we also want to talk to you a little bit about how PhotoBiz can help. You know that we've said that we do websites, so let's tell you a little bit about those websites that we do. Our core sites are called HTML5 Portfolio and HTML5 Content sites. They both are built on remarkably simple control panels where you actually have access to a whole collection of interchangeable designs. Our control panel really does that. It puts you in control of your website with access to unlimited pages and galleries and the ability to customize your site with colors, fonts, and backgrounds. Now, what's the difference between a portfolio and a content site, you ask? A portfolio site is very horizontal in nature, large rotating graphics. This is the one you see on the bottom of the screen. From the time you land on the home page, you are showing off your work in nice, large images. They rotate nicely in a slideshow, and then your customers can navigate to the additional pages on your site. The content site is more vertical in nature, and that's the purple one you see more on the top half of the screen. It allows you to, again, give that logo recognition and navigation like on any website. Then it gives you smaller rotating graphics with the ability to also have text and images on the same page. That's from the home page. So the difference, it's a style preference. Do you want a horizontal rotating gallery where you get to look at one image at a time, or do you want a more vertical style design where you can combine text and images on the same page? In addition to our core sites, we also have a number of add-ons available. With this, you'll see we've got e-commerce, a blog, and client proofing. E-commerce allows you to sell anything online, whether that's products, packages, or services. The big key difference with us, and that makes us unique, is that there are no commission fees. We've made an e-commerce system that allows you to be able to sell online and keep the money that you're making. The blog is a great way to tell your story online. It's our own proprietary system that we've built that allows you to moderate your comments, schedule posts, include tags, everything you know and love about blogs. integrated in with our system. That's one of the nice things as well about our blog and e-commerce is that they run off of the same platform as our content sites. So they can inherently seamlessly integrate with that site to make one big comprehensive site. Another tool we have available is client proofing. It's a wonderful tool to be able to review and collaborate with your customers, whether that's reviewing images, albums, so many different types of things. It's a nice system that allows your customers to tag favorites and leave comments on individual images. The big question everyone then has after hearing all the wonderful things about our website solutions is how much? That's where comes in the pricing and plans. Each of our products have a one-time setup fee, and then it's powered by our monthly membership that starts as low as $15 a month. What's in a membership, you ask? Well, you're a big part of that membership because we give you 24/7 access to be able to use the control panel, customize anything within your site that you're trying to do. It's all then powered by our passionate support. You may laugh, but yes, we call it passionate support and not customer service because we really want to be your business partner. We want to hold your hand. We want to be your web expert so that you can focus on what you do best, your own craft, your own industry, your own business. So lean on us. We have our support team available from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they're available by phone and by email. And for those locally here in Greensboro, we also are open to scheduling times where you can come in and sit with us in person. In addition to all of that, we also provide you with educational resources such as webinars like today. Almost every Tuesday we hold a webinar, whether it's from a guest speaker who's an expert in their industry or from one of our own passionate support team to teach you more about how to use some of our products and services. In addition, we host your website. So we take care of making sure that your site is always up. In addition, we continue to provide updates. So you say you see a collection of designs when you're purchasing one of our sites or products today. Well, that collection of designs is going to continue to grow and you're going to continue to get access to it. And as we improve on our products and add new features, we're going to continue to provide them to you. So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you and ask what questions you might have. Feel free to either send them through the chat box or hashtag PhotoBizLive on Twitter. Alrighty, so Latasha Bradford asks, how can we attract people to our website? So with this, there are so many different ways to be able to market people to your website. You can do things on social media to be able to drive people to your website. You can do pay-per-click campaigns. You can do advertising. You can create brochures with your website address. Just make sure any printed material or emails that you're sending out include links or even just the domain name to get people back to your website. Let's see who else has some questions for us today. Anyone else want to type in any questions? Alrighty. Well, we thank you all very much for joining us today, and we want to leave you with one more takeaway. We've got a wonderful ebook that we've prepared that summarizes everything we talked about today. So as a part of either registering for this webinar or physically attending it, we've provided this ebook is going to be in the email that follows up next week. So check your inboxes to make sure that you get that ebook and definitely take a look through that. Also think about the recording that we're going to provide to make sure that you're able to continue to watch that and learn anything more that you might have missed today. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. We're providing contact information here on the screen. Our phone number is 1-866-463-7620. You can also visit our website and fill out our contact form or send us an email to salesteam@photobiz.com. Our domain name is photobiz.com to be able to come visit us. And again, we're open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today, as well as the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, for joining us and helping us to make this webinar possible. We hope that you all are able to take some of the information that you learned today and make your websites even more effective.